We're not going to talk about it. We're going to get beyond that. So people say, okay. And so I submit that if in our masjids, in our centers, we recognize there's a need to address the inequities of the death penalty. My son-in-law, and Ahmad, I'm going to shut up. Give me 1 minute. My son-in-law was one vote on a jury from getting the death penalty in June of 1985 for a crime that he did not commit. One vote away. And then he spent the next 19 years of his life trying to prove that he was not the perpetrator of a very hideous, brutal murder. But he was one vote away from being executed because of the prosecutorial misconduct rooted in racism, because of the police misconduct rooted in racism, because of the racist judges sitting on the bench. His life is the story of so many people in this country. So if we can recognize that there are problems, if we establish a social justice committee in our masjids, don't just have it in one. Bring everybody, every Muslim have a representative in it. Let's make our voices strong when we go forward in the community. Everybody doesn't have to do it, but go forward together. We will recognize the necessity of the moment. We will have an operational unity based on Islam, paying attention to our duties and responsibilities. Brothers and sisters, I close by praying that these young people in this room will help us, those of us with gray in our beards and on our heads, will help us to overcome some of this my water is colder than your water attitude that the Muslims, that we have so shamefully displayed for in front of our children and our grandchildren for decades. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us who've been pushing this agenda for so long to change our ways, not tomorrow, not for the next unity session, but tonight. Make a commitment tonight that I'm going to change my ways, that I'm going to do something differently. And finally, I pray that if there's anything that I've said that's against the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I ask Allah's forgiveness and your forgiveness and support, that only everything that I've said that has any iota of truth comes from Allah, and the mistakes are mine. Assalamu alaikum.